Всем привет, друзья! Мы продолжаем проходить игру Vampyr. В прошлой серии, когда я с вами прощался, я что садился на кровать сохраниться, прокачивал навыки, и прям в момент, когда я прекратил записывать, у меня игра выдала критическую ошибку. Как-то не фортануло. Но, к счастью, я успел сохранить запись и на ютубчик его отправить. А у меня лекарство при утомлении есть? Вроде да.
You are going to reveal all your secrets to me, even the darkest thoughts in your heart.
My blood and soul, they belong to you now.
The life running in your veins. This dead flesh needs it.
Oh, please spare me, Dark Queen. Spare your obedient slave.
Мне кажется, в нее он влюблен, в отличие от нее.
Fear and disgust on every street corner. The daily routine.
So many deaths. A lot of my
Good evening, Mr. Elwood.
Evening, Dr. Reid.
Soldier, do you need assistance?
Not really. I think I caught something in this bloody hospital. I swear I'm dead, yet smiling inside, Dr. Reid.
As long as you remain here, I will make sure you don't have to worry about your health.
Don't think you can do much about it. Damage is done.
Goodbye for now, Mr. Elwood.
Damn,
why Cosmics came here in the first place.
here again.
Это иконка мой кабинет же, да? Походу. Вау! А еще так много людей заболело-то. Переутомление, головная боль, переутомление, 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 переутомление. Раз, два, три, четыре, пять, шесть. Охренеть.
It's locked. Strickland's project could be dangerous. I have a mind to report him to Dr. Aykroyd.
Я не знаю, если честно, как поступать. Для начала создам средство от переутомления, и как раз 6 у меня наберется. А что касаемо других районов, кстати, 7 надо сделать.
Good evening, Mr. Fiddick.
Good evening, Dr. Reid. Any news about my operation?
Is there anything else that's bothering you? Can I help in any way?
Really? Why has no one else asked me that since I got here? I thought I was in a hospital.
Unfortunately, you are not the only person who needs help. And complaining about it won't do you any good.
Well, perhaps you're right, Dr. Reid. I'm sure if me missus was still alive, she wouldn't be happy with me going on like this.
Goodbye for now, Mr. Fiddick. I'll see you later.
I will not let you down, my boy.
Making a difference.
Good evening, Doctor. How is my son doing?
Do you require medical attention as well, Mrs. Goswick?
Do you know you're the only one who's asked me this? No, I don't feel well, actually.
Despite what you think about this place, I can tell you with absolute certainty, taking this will help you recover.
Well, at least your reputation seems well deserved. Unfortunately, I can't say the same for this hospital.
Goodbye, Mrs. Goswick.
Я бы рассказал, наверное, Экройду все.
I'm quite busy right now, Dr. Reid.
Do you need my assistance?
Don't be ridiculous. I'm capable of dealing with this myself. I've just not taken the time to do so.
Then you are lucky that I have taken the time to do so. Consider it a gesture of solidarity between professionals.
I wish this hospital could have received as much attention from you, Dr. Reid. We do not see you in surgery very often.
Do you think Dr. Strickland has any chance of curing the Spanish flu by himself?
His wish to cure the sick is not driven by pride, but by an idealistic view about our mission here. Honestly, I don't know which is worse.
You consider him a good practitioner, yet you will not report his methods.
Strickland may be a rival, but I will not use dirty tricks or regulations to prove him wrong. We are doctors, not politicians.
Ну, то есть, отдать ему микстуру будет правильным решением.
I know that you're a busy man, but I could use your help and advice.
The great Dr. Reid honors me with a request. What is it exactly?
Dr. Strickland devised an experimental drug for the Spanish flu that he asked me to manufacture.
You know what I think of fringe medical experimentation?
That's exactly why I want you to keep the result, Doctor. I made sure it won't harm anyone, but I'd like you to take care of it.
I see. Put it in my cabinet. I'll give you the key. I'll make sure no one uses this medication by mistake.
I'll do that. Thank you for your help, Dr. Ackroyd.
Thank you for your trust on the matter, Dr. Reid.
Thank you for your time. We'll talk later.
Это ж я для него делал, да, лекарство?
Good evening, Dr. Strickland.
And good evening to you, Dr. Reid. Can I be of any help?
Did you know Dr. Ackroyd never reported your experimental research, despite the fact he doesn't agree with it?
Really? I didn't suspect he knew about my work. I must confess I am surprised.
Perhaps he thinks you should realize for yourself the danger of what you're doing.
See how condescending he can be? My God, he can be so irritating.
Goodbye, Dr. Strickland.
Стоп, у меня есть возможность...
this so difficult every time?
Наркотики? Серьезно?
That is better. I will make it through one more night.
Вау. Ну, так побазарим с тобой.
Good evening, Dr. Tippett.
Dr. Reed, any good news to share? I know you're taking drugs, Corcoran. Why take such a risk?
I need it to endure the long shifts. We have no idea how long the epidemic will last. We can't let it win.
I understand the gesture, Doctor. An immediate answer to an emergency situation, but this can't be a long-term solution.
Thank you for your understanding, my dear colleague. And be assured, I have total control of my consumption.
Охренеть.
Goodbye, Dr. Tippett. It's locked. It's locked, all right. It's locked.
Все закрыто. Пациент Мортимер Гозвик, мужчина 23 года, лечащий врач доктор Экроид. Состояние выздоравливает. Дата поступления 27 октября. Дата выписки еще не определена. Примечание. У пациента симптомы крайней усталости. На языке, во рту и в глотке многочисленные язвы. Но ни одного симптома инфлюенции. Отказывается говорить, утверждает, что это слишком болезненно. Нуждается в отдыхе и лечении слизистой оболочки горла. Только после этого можно принимать решение о его выписке. Пембрукская больница, 14 октября. Дорогой доктор Свонси, несмотря на тяжелую ситуацию, я вынужден сообщить о недавнем служебном проступке, который произошел в Пембрукской больнице. Было неопровержимо доказано, что медсестра Гвинет Бранаган вела себя непрофессионально и тем самым подвергла опасности жизни пациента. Ни при каких обстоятельствах медсестра не должна ставить диагноз и выписывать лекарства, не известив об этом лечащего врача. Эдгар, вы меня знаете, я не против личной инициативы, если она идет на пользу делу, особенно в условиях нашего кризиса. Но мы не можем допускать, чтобы медсестра ставила диагноз и назначала курс лечения. Тот факт, что пациент выжил, не является смягчающим обстоятельством. Это просто означает, что в этот раз нам страшно повезло. Я требую, чтобы виновный был наказан по всей строгости. С уважением, доктор Уэйверли Экроид. Жестко. Ну, деньги было забирать лишнее, конечно, ну ладно.
Now that Dr. Ackroyd has been warned, he should make good use of this formula. It's locked, all right.
Какие у нас дальше планы? Я раздам лекарства сейчас. И... Тут я все выполнил, кстати. Пойду в Уайтчепел.
Good evening, Dr. Reid. Such a pleasure to see you again.
Tell me the truth about your appointment as a medic during the war, Rakesh.
The regiment administration appointed me by mistake. I had to learn the job on the spot, sir. Very hard, sir, but I rose to the challenge.
You can't impersonate a doctor. You can't improvise a medical education. People could die at your hands.
You're absolutely right, sir. But as a field surgeon, it was more like being a butcher.
Do you believe you have really helped these people?
My ratings were within the averages of the regiment. I saved lives, Dr. Reid. Does that not say enough about triage and war surgery?
Do you realize how many soldiers died because of that decision? You should have refused.
Yes, sir. I swear I did, sir. But no one listened. When the first wounded arrived, I had to do what I could.
It is an unbelievable story, Mr. Chidana.
It was a time beyond belief, Dr. Reid. But I'm happy not to deal with the wounded. I prefer caring for the dead now.
Do you need medical attention?
Well, the proximity of the dead is not the most healthy company, even if the quiet can be appreciated.
Don't take too many risks with your health, Mr. Chidana. None of us are immune to this disease.
And that is a good thing. Death and disease is a constant reminder of our mortality. But you have my thanks, Dr. Reid.
Goodbye, Mr. Chidana.
Еще можно поговорить с этим. Вот с ним.
Good evening, Mr. Goswick. How are you?
I'm okay.
Your medical report says you're not affected by the Spanish flu. What do you think of that, Mortimer?
Does it make me happy? Not in the slightest. If it was up to me, I would have left this place long ago. I know I don't belong here.
And why do you think you don't belong here?
I know the staff have more important things to do than look after me. There's plenty of patients here who need their attention.
How painful.
So painful.
I'm sure you realize a doctor and his patient have to communicate, sir. Would it help if I gave you some paper and a pen?
Not really.
I see. Then maybe it's not just your throat that hurts, Mr. Goswick. Perhaps your sore throat is just the consequence of something more hurtful.
Yes, maybe. But I don't want to talk or even write about it now.
I have to go now, sir. But don't hesitate to contact me if you need any help.
I'm all right.
This hospital
waste your
seems to
time
be
with me.
falling apart.
They may lack the resources, but we have some of them.
Good evening, Milton.
Good evening, Doctor. Still trying to save lives?
Do you need any medical help, Milton?
I'm afraid I do. Like everyone in this hospital. It's a sad state of affairs when even the hospital workers are worried about disease.
Our job brings us into contact with all kinds of infections, Milton. There's no shame in being ill while you're in a hospital.
That's easy for you to say, Doctor. I get the feeling you don't fall sick often. But thanks anyway.
Goodbye, Milton.
Все, вроде все раздал. Нет, Бранаган. Еще с ней поговорить надо будет. Она обычно где-то здесь тусуется, да.
We are overwhelmed by this horrifying epidemic.
Good evening, Nurse Brannigan.
Good evening, Doctor.
According to the report I read, your unprofessional conduct put a patient in danger, Gwyneth.
That's not true. I know when my patient's life is at risk, and I'm more competent than a lot of doctors that I know. Problem is, I'm a woman.
I don't see what your gender has to do with your abilities, nurse.
Yes, nurse. Because I'll never be a doctor, no matter what my skills. I could make a decision that could save a life, but oh no, that's unbecoming conduct.
Have you heard of Elizabeth Blackwell? She was the first woman listed on the UK medical register. Change is slow, but it will come. And you will always have my support.
To have the right to study shouldn't be determined by sex, skin, or wealth. That's all I'm saying.
Tell me, nurse, did you know Dr. Tippett was addicted to medication?
I suspected this behavior for some time, but never dared to ask him about it. Until the day he confessed to me.
Why would he confess to you about his addiction, Nurse Brannigan?
Don't you know you doctors can't hide anything from a nurse? We're always there, even if you don't notice us.
Do you consider yourselves our confessors, Nurse Brannigan?
I wouldn't dare, Dr. Reed. But I'm intrigued. How did you discover Dr. Tippett's secret?
What can I say? I seem to have a knack for discovering secrets.
And for hiding them as well.
Do you approve of his addiction?
Of course I don't approve. But I understand he needs it to fight the exhaustion. Let's hope he'll stop injecting himself once the epidemic is over.
And what if he doesn't?
Then we'll have to convince him to stop. I believe he's still in control of his addiction, for now. But we must remain vigilant.
Goodbye, nurse. Call me if you need assistance.
Стой, я лекарство не дал.
Good
Секунду.
evening, Nurse Brannigan.
Good evening, Doctor.
Do you require medical assistance, nurse?
I will be fine. As soon as I can get some sleep.
Nurse, you won't be able to help people if you're sick. Take this, and do try to get some rest.
I'll try, Dr. Reed. Thank you.
Goodbye, nurse. Call me if you need assistance.
Все, можно спокойно отправиться в Уайтчепел. Блин, враги заново появляются. Не люблю такое. Ну ладно, куда не деваться. Ой. Знай бы заранее, что это переносит меня в другую локацию. Это я, походу, захожу в тот дом, где я чувака спас. Вроде как, да. Блин. Загрузку ждать еще. Да, это этот дом. Но его здесь уже нету, хорошо. Значит. О! Не зря я пришел сюда. Нечитабельный текст, написанный шрифтом Брайля. Латиницей набрано только название. Средство от слепоты. Прекрасно. Ну вы чавкаете, конечно, ребята. Я смотрю, игра прям заставляет искать убежище. Ищите убежище прям с восклицательным знаком. Понял. Но заходит в дом быстрее, чем выходит из дома. К сожалению. Стоп, здесь я тоже был. Блять. Отсюда нет прохода в Уайтчепел, хотите сказать? Фак. Ужас, а. Ой. А. Понятно. Значит, направо там где-то.
Stupid beast! He's dead!
Да иди нахуй.
It's one of them! Shit, that leech is crossed!
Здесь я тоже был. Это ведет обратно к больнице, насколько я понимаю. Вы что тут делаете? Кстати, я устал уже всех кусать, если честно. Но писать надо. Да иди нахуй! Блять. Да успокойся, ёпты! Класс. 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 Что не работает, блядь? Ой. Стой, как дурачок, нажимаю на R1, но даже не срабатывает. Боже, какое дерьмо, а? Не понял. Что за детские вопли?
It's locked, all right. It's locked.
Классно. Это обратно путь в больницу.
Uайтчепел. This neighborhood is linked somehow to the kind Lady Ashby.
Нихера себе стормозило сейчас какая.
First, let's find this Petrescu fellow.
Are you all right?
The bastard hit the wall next to me. I don't even know if he meant to miss.
If you've been hurt, I can help you. I'm a doctor.
Name's Albert. Remember it. Now bugger off.
Do you know Nurse Dorothy Crane from the Pembroke Hospital? If you know anything about her, I'd appreciate it.
Never heard of her. She's pretty, I'll keep an eye out.
What happened? Did you really steal that man's medication?
Hey, I didn't do anything, it ain't me.
All right. Perhaps the poor drunk just confused you with someone else.
Sod off, mister. You ain't got no clue what's going on here. Bastard was a soldier in the war, so now he's got the right to shoot me.
It's true. I'm not familiar with this part of town. Perhaps you could help me.
I said sod off. Go find yourself another guide.
I found the recruiter you were expecting. He's dead, but he carried a note. The Wet Boot Boys have accepted your application.
I knew it! I told you I was tough enough. I'll be free soon.
Free? You may soon find out that you have simply traded one set of shackles for another.
You're all fancy words, none of which concern me. Go worry about someone else. I'm fine and I have a future here.
Да, душный паренек.
Do you need assistance?
Please. Feeling tired these days.
There you go. Let's hope nobody steals it from you.
Very funny.
Goodbye, young man.
Wet Boots will be proud of me.
Some piss-stinking alley reeking worse than a week-old lavvy.
Bloody heart, boy. What?
Shooting a boy in the middle of a street. Not the best thing to do, wouldn't you say?
What? You saw what happened? Who are you?
I'm Dr. Reed, and I'd like to ask you a few questions, if you promise me to set your gun aside.
No. Look, I'm not a violent man. I'm Benjamin Palmer, doctor. And no one can help me. Not even you.
Do you know Nurse Dorothy Crane from the Pembroke Hospital? Have you heard anything?
It's funny, I've been searching for her too. I need some pills. But the woman is a phantom, if you ask me.
Really? And why is that?
Word is she ain't real. She's a cover for some doctor who runs an illegal dispensary for migrants.
Oh boy.
What can you tell me about this place?
Nothing to say, really. This is where I used to live, and this is where I live now.
You don't have anywhere to go? No family that would welcome you?
Not since the death of my wife, Albert's mother. She was sick, you see. Long before the flu and all this shit.
You mean you used to have a better life?
Yeah, I had a wife, a home, and a job. I even used to have a name. Now I'm just Ben. Ben the Tramp.
Perhaps you could focus for a moment and tell me your troubles.
I'm sick, broke, and my son just stole my pills.
Сын?
Everything's coming up roses.
Офигеть. Классно с сыном общается.
Whatever the boy did, I'm sure he didn't deserve a public execution.
I swear I didn't want to hit him. It's just that I'm sick in the head, you see, and the boy just frayed me last nerve.
What is it, Benjamin? It was the war, wasn't it? Your nerves are shot, aren't they? I need some answers, Private. From one soldier to another.
The doctors called me a liar, a coward. Put me in a straitjacket, locked me up. Finally, they sent me back to the front lines with a handful of tablets.
What about those we left behind, face down in the mud? You want to change places with them? You cannot waste your chance at life this way.
It's not that simple. I wouldn't have expected you to understand. I don't even know why I spoke to you in the first place.
Да, не очень я.
You don't seem well, Benjamin. Do you need any help?
I always feel ill, sir. It's like I'm never right.
Средства мигрени.
I will see you later. A gun, alcohol, and a bad temper make a terrible cocktail, sir. Goodbye for now.
Stinking alley reeking worse than a week-old lavvy.
Someday you'll understand. You've wasted your life away.
Good evening, miss.
Good evening, sir. Are you interested in a miraculous cure for this unknown and deadly epidemic?
Actually, I am.
Then you have come to the right place. The famous Swanborough cordial is all you need to help keep you in perfect health.
Oh, really? Why didn't I hear about it during my studies? I'm Jonathan Reed, by the way. Dr. Jonathan Reed.
Ah, my brother has spoken of your research, sir. I'm Loretta Swanborough, and it's always a pleasure to meet a fellow healer.
Коллегу.
I'd like to see what kind of medicine you're selling.
Да, мне бы его изучить.
The Swanborough cordial can be the... Good evening.
Но это можно изучить там, в этом, в убежище.
Do you know Nurse Dorothy Crane from the Pembroke Hospital? I'd like to know more about her.
I don't like to talk about competition.
Competition, you say?
Never met her, but it seems she provides some sort of medical care to the poor. The whole thing has to be some sort of scam, if you ask me.
Tell me, who intrigues you most in Whitechapel?
The region itself is something to see, but I would say Camellia the mute florist who gives away her flowers.
What do you think of the locals?
Most of them are afraid or desperate. They all come to me eventually for my remedy.
Is there anyone I should avoid?
Cadogan Bates, without a doubt. The bloody bastard remorselessly exploits poor migrants as soon as they get here.
Goodbye, Miss Swanborough. Perhaps we'll talk again.
К примеру, когда я изучу ее лекарство волшебное. Я хочу обойти всю жилую часть сначала. Простуда.
Good evening, sir. Do you remember me?
А,
If you're here
точно.
for a reward, you'll be sorely
Которого я спас.
disappointed. But I'll gladly shake the hand of a fellow countryman.
I'm not here for a bounty. I'm a doctor. Dr. Reid from the Pembroke.
A doctor? In Whitechapel? What an opportunity. My name's Bates. Cadogan Bates.
Do you require assistance, Mr. Bates?
Not me, but your skills could help a lot of people round here. That would help my business, because I say, a live tenant's a paying tenant.
I'm looking for Dorothy Crane. She's a nurse. What can you tell me about her?
Dorothy Crane, bless her soul. I really should thank her someday.
Has she treated you?
No. When I need a checkup, I'd go to a bloody doctor, not some back alley clinic full of sick foreigners.
Вау.
You seem to have recovered well since your attack. Do you ever think about what happened to you?
Not much. It was a fucking nightmare. Savages, absolute bloody savages. Their appearance. Jesus. It made me want to puke.
You'd better not come back here. I won't be around next time to save you. I want to know everything about the recent violence, Cadogan. And I want the truth.
Well, rent may be a bit high, and yeah, I've had to evict a few people. But that's business, isn't it?
I don't believe even you deserve such a cruel fate, though you have tested my patience beyond its limit.
Glad to hear. Nice to know there's another civilized individual in these parts. Not like those bloody savages.
Ну, я не знаю. Как-то... Я мало о нем знаю в целом, поэтому судить его я пока не могу.
It's unusual to see someone so happy around here, especially considering the current situation.
Why should I be sad now? There've always been wars, disease, tragedy. There always will be.
That's an unusual way of seeing things in these trying times.
I don't see why I should shed a tear for another man's woes. I'm healthy, and I intend to stay so.
What is your business, exactly?
I offer fair lodgings for a modest price to the poor and weary of Whitechapel.
По скромной цене.
And what about those who cannot pay?
Well, deals can be done, if you know what I mean. Money's not the only currency. After all, I'm not immune to a pretty face.
Но в смысле пользуется их положением? Ну, нет у человека денег. И если он может заплатить иначе, то как бы... Почему бы и нет? Ты же не заставляешь это делать, правильно? Ты даешь выбор. Так что...
I don't approve of your actions, but I know very little about this borough other than its reputation. There are always necessary evils.
Necessary evil. That's one way to think about it. Knew you had more smarts than all these immigrants.
What help could I possibly be to your business?
That's simple. I already get good money from all those fleeing the war. Can you imagine what they'd be willing to pay if I could offer medical assistance too?
Mr. Bates, do not make me regret saving your life in this quarantine zone.
I understand, Dr. Reed, you're from a good family. Don't want to get your hands dirty. That's fine. I'll be happy to act as your middleman.
I've no interest in money. Perhaps one night I will visit you and take what I require. If that should happen, there will be no need for a middleman.
So it's a no then. That's too bad. The Reed tonic could have really helped people, you know, save lives. Isn't that what you do? I mean, people buy that Swanborough shit.
Tell me, what's your honest opinion of the increasing violence in London?
People are just beginning to discover what we've always known. This city's rotten to the core. They just took their bloody time to wake up and notice it.
What do you mean?
People are acting like the violence is news. But it's always been savage down here. It just bubbles to the surface every now and again.
Goodbye, Mr. Bates.
What do you want? Leave me alone.
Good evening, sir. I'm Dr. Reed. I'm looking for Nurse Dorothy Crane.
There is no Dorothy Crane here. Now goodbye.
I'm afraid this medical leaflet says the opposite, sir.
Really? Well, I'm afraid I'm going to close this door right now. Go bother someone else, Mr. Doctor.
To enter that house, I must discover who this man really is. Maybe I could start by observing what he's up to.
A strange man was at the door with a pass for our medical facility. I refused him entry.
Darius, how could you know he didn't need our help?
His clothes were too finely tailored to be from Uайтчепел.
Perhaps just a friend of that stray poet who is always about.
Richard Nithercott? No, not of the same cloth, this man. I suspect some machination from that journalist.
Clayton Darby. Is he still asking questions?
Yes. I saw him drifting around St. Mary's Church. I swear he is tracking me just downwind.
I must talk to that journalist or the poet. They must know about Darius. Nearby the church they just mentioned.
А где безопасная зона, кстати? Убежище. Где-то в Уайтчепеле. А, вот оно. Все. Все понятно. Нашел. Вау.
One way or another. Please, Joe. How long have we known each other? We even used to be neighbours, for Christ's sake. I prefer not to give you another beating, Barrett.
Hello, young man. I'm Dr. Reed, and I would like to ask you a few questions. May I enter, please?
Sorry, no, sir. My father does not like people entering our house, you see.
Давайте потом зайдем.
I shall leave you alone.
Я сохранюсь. В следующей серии продолжим. Все еще научусь ориентироваться по этой карте.
I cannot enter.
Чего? Это же типа убежище. Вау. У нас проблема. Я надеюсь, это проход к убежищу. Вау. А времечко-то уже поджимает. Ух, твою мать, сколько тут крови. Охренеть. Походу, это не проход к убежищу. Могу поспорить, женщину изнасиловали, а этих убил вампир какой-нибудь. Записки нету никакой, разве ни у кого? Печальненько. А, нет, все-таки убежище. Ладно. И отсюда два выхода. Понял. О, исследовать. Понял. Так. Ничем не болеет. Простуда. Бронхит. Мигрень. Переутомление. Головная боль. Простуда. Бронхит. А, стоп, у меня нет остального. Переутомление 1. Раствора гидрохлорида натрия нету. Черт. Ну ладно, тогда пока так будем. На этом тогда закончим. Всем спасибо за просмотр. Ставьте лайки, подписывайтесь. Главное, комментируйте, чтобы я мог с вами общаться. До скорых встреч.